So today what we are going to be going over is we are going to be going over locomotor movements. So do you guys know what locomotor movements might be? Do you guys want to take a guess of what it might be? So locomotor movements is what brings us from point A to point B. So you know how a train can bring us from point A to point B, or an airplane can bring us to point A to point B? So for us moving around from point A to point B, that would be what? How do we get from point A to point B when it's not in transportation like a bus or a car? What are some things that we do to get from point A to point B? Angel, you gonna mute yourself?
Trains.
Good. So now that's with transportation with machines. So what about our bodies? What does our body? How do we get from point A to point B? Yes, Angel?
Can roller skate or use a bike.
Good. So what about if we're not using any things like that? What's something that we do?
Walk.
Good. Walking is one of them. Yunelzi, what's another one that we can do?
We could run.
Good. Running is another one. That's another locomotor movement. So we have walking, we have running. What else?
Jogging.
Good. Jogging. Can we think about any other ones? We got walking, running, jogging. What are some other ones? Skipping. Good. Skipping is another one. We're going to go over skipping again today. So the first one that we're going to talk about is we're going to be going over walking. Now, walking is the fairly simple one. So what we're going to do is we are all going to stand up. We're all going to go and stand up for 1 second. So, stand up, Angel. Remember, what's the first thing we need to remember is spatial awareness. So space awareness. We need to make sure that there's nothing in our way that we're going to knock over or bump into any walls. We don't want to trip, nothing like that. So I'm going to move my chair out of the way. And what we can do is instead of making our own little space, what we can do is we can take, let me take like a little pillow or something, let's see. Or a bigger pillow. Do I have any big pillows over here or small pillow? That's okay. I'm just going to take this camera case as and I'm going to put this on the floor right over here. So just so I know this is my little space, I'm making my own little track. I'm making my own little track or my own little circuit. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go near my track. And what we're going to do is we're just going to walk around in a circle. So we're just going to walk in a circle. Good, but we don't want to go too fast. We're just going to walk for now. And then now we're going to stop. We can stop behind our little circuit. And now it is we're going to go backwards. But what's one important thing when we go backwards? What's one important thing when we go backwards? Yes, Yunelzi?
Watch out so you don't fall.
Good. So what we're going to do is we always have to make sure that we look over our shoulder. So we're always looking over our shoulder. So watch me real quick first. So you see I'm looking over my shoulder just so I know that I'm not bumping into anything. So we want to do this nice and slow. And I'm just watching out that I don't trip over anything. We want to do this just nice and slow, just walking backwards. Nice and slow. Good. And we can stop. Sometimes even walking backwards, we get a little dizzy after a while. So, the next thing that we are going to go over is jogging. Now, what's the difference between jogging and running? Who can tell me? What's the difference between jogging and running? Angel.
That when you're jogging, you're more slow.
Good.
But then when you're running, you're more faster. And plus, when you're jogging, you don't get too tired, like running.
Good, yeah. So if you look at people when they're running on the sidewalk, jogging on the sidewalk or jogging on a track outside, they're going at a slower pace so that they don't get as tired. And since we're inside and not outside, we'd rather save our running super fast for outside where we have more space. Since we're inside, we don't have as much space, so we're gonna do a light jog. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to jog slowly around our little area. So this is our little area. And we're just gonna slowly jog. So when we jog, you see my arms are going up and down, and my legs, they don't cross each other. So we don't want to run with our legs crossing each other like this, or else we'll trip. We want to just go nice and easy. So a light jog. Good. So we'll do this about 1 or 2 more times. Good. And now we can stop. So now we went over walking, we went over jogging. We talked about what running is, but we don't have enough space to run. So the next thing that we are going to go over is hopping. So what do you think hopping is? How many feet do we jump with when we're hopping? Angel? Good. So we only hop with 1 foot. We need to remember that we hop with 1 foot and we jump with 2 feet. So even though that they say bunnies and kangaroos, they hop, they really jump because they're going off of 2 instead of 1. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take our right foot, we're going to put it up just like this, nice and easy. We don't want to put it over our leg or on our leg. And we're just going to hop very slowly. But we could even, if you want, you can put your arms out like a plane so that you have balance. Because we want to do it nice and soft. So we're going to do it nice and soft. We're just going to hop slowly. We want to hop slowly. Remember, we always want to try to balance ourselves and land soft. We don't want to land too hard because we're going to make a lot of noise and it might wake up somebody downstairs. So we want to hop nice and slow. So now we're going to hop 5 times on 1 foot and then we'll switch. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then now we're going to switch our legs and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stop. So now we did hopping, we did walking, we did running, we did hopping. So now we're going to do jumping, but we need to make sure that when we are jumping, that we are being very silent and we're also bending our knees. So look at me first. So we're jumping, we could jump over. We're very similar. So do you know what else jumps? Grasshoppers jump. Basketball players jump. We have a whole bunch of different things that jump. So we can either jump really high, we can jump really low, we can jump over a rain puddle, we can jump over a lot of different things. So right now, we need to make sure that when we jump, we're bending our knees, we're keeping our body straight, so you want to keep your back straight, and we're jumping like this. But we want to make sure that we're landing softly. We want to land soft. So now we're going to jump a few times. So we're just going to jump, and we're jumping off of 2 feet. Jumping off of 2 feet. So we're jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. I feel like a kangaroo jumping. We're jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping and freeze. Good. If you want, remember, we can always take a little break. You can always have a little bit of water next to you, but you don't want to drink too much water because then you might get a stomach ache. So, another thing that we're going to talk about. So far we went over walking, jumping. So now we're going to go over galloping. What do you think about when we gallop? What do you think? What animal gallops? Yanelzi?
A horse.
Good, a horse or a pony or a donkey maybe. So when we think about galloping, we think about those animals. Now when we gallop, we need to remember it's not skipping, so our legs aren't going back and forth. If you watch me, I'm going to have both feet just like this. So you see both feet are right here. And they're not going to cross each other, but it's almost like my back foot is just hopping behind the other foot. So just so you get a little better, angle, I think you can see it. But just so you get a little better angle, we are going to gallop. So now we're going to gallop. So I want to see everybody think about it as step together step. So if you're doing step together step, you're not crossing your feet. You're going step together step. So if you see my legs don't pass each other, it's almost like my back leg is just following my front leg. So we're just going to gallop around. So you see how my back leg is just trailing my front leg? It's not passing it. They're just going right next to each other. And then now we're going to switch. So now we switch legs. So now my back leg is now my right leg. So now we're switching. And we're galloping. It's almost like you feel like you're riding a horse. And you're trotting away. So we're trotting around our little racetrack. And good. So now we went over galloping. So now when we skip, is a little different. So when we skip, we're actually hopping. So it's almost like we're doing a step and a hop. So if we're skipping, what we're going to be doing is we're doing a step and we're hopping on one foot. So if you see when I skip, I'm putting one leg up like I'm going to hop, but then I'm switching. So if I'm skipping, I'm hopping. So I'm actually putting my opposite foot up. So my left foot's going up, and then I'm hopping with the next foot. So I'm hopping, but I'm switching feet as I hop. So we're skipping. So I'm putting my foot up, and then I'm hopping on the other foot, but I'm switching instead of keeping it like that. So I'm going skip, skip. So we're actually switching feet. So it's a step and a hop. Step, hop, step. Step, hop, step. Step, hop, step. Good. So now we're going to take just a little break. You can have another sip of water if you want to, if you have water. But not too much water. Because we always want to have something to drink. We always want to stay hydrated. So now we went over skipping, galloping, jumping, hopping. So there's also something called either a side to side step, or some people call it a slide step. So what we're doing is we're getting in almost like a crouched position with my feet set out wide, almost like if I'm playing basketball on defense. So we're doing this and we're just putting our feet together. So we're not passing each other. We're not crossing our legs. They're just going next to each other, just like this. So we're going to go in a circle and we're just going to sidestep. So look at me, I'm just sidestepping. So we're just going to sidestep in a circle. It's almost like when a crab walks. If you see a crab walk, they have this position. Or a basketball player playing defense, he has to move side to side so the person doesn't get in front of him. Or also when a baseball player, if he takes the lead. If a baseball player is getting ready to run, they sidestep and then they run. Good, so we went over walking. We walked backwards also. We went over running, jogging. We went over skipping. We went over galloping. We went over hopping. Now let's see if there's any other ones that we are missing that we can do inside. So there are some things that you want to keep outside and some things you want to keep inside. Oh, we also did galloping. So there's also leaping. But when we leap, it's a little different. So when we leap, we're taking off of one foot and landing on the opposite foot. So that's like if we can't jump over a puddle, with 2 feet like this because the puddle is too big. So what we do is we pick up one leg, we swing it back, and then we jump forward. So we're taking one leg, we're swinging it back, and we're jumping forward. We're taking one leg, swinging it back, and we're jumping forward, and we're landing on the opposite foot. So if I'm trying to jump, I have one leg back here, and I'm leaping over the other. So I have one leg here, and I'm leaping over the other. So I'm actually pushing off of the foot that's on the floor, and the push that's in the air, I'm using that as leverage so I can jump. So this is giving me the power to jump forward. So this foot I'm pushing off of, so I'm swinging the one in the air, and I'm jumping. So that is leaping, not jumping, sorry. Jumping is if I'm off with 2 feet. Yes, Angel, your question?
What about the crawling?
What about the what?
Crawling.
Crawling, yes, we could do that one too. So how about we do the bear crawl? Do you remember how to do a bear crawl? So when we do a bear crawl, we're getting on all fours and we're walking like a bear. So let's go in a circle and do a bear crawl. So if we're bear crawling, we're crawling on all fours. So bear crawl is that's a really good one that I forgot about. Good, so we can bear crawl for a few minutes. And how about we crab walk? Do you remember how to crab walk? So we have to almost sit just like this, and we're keeping ourselves off the ground, and we're going backwards. So we're actually going, remember when we go backwards, what do we have to do? We have to look over our shoulders so we know we're not bumping into anything. So we're going backwards. Good. Good, we're going backwards. Good. So now what we're going to do for the rest of the period, we're going to get off of Zoom and we're going to go back to Google Classroom and we're going to finish our Google form. So in the form, I put about 10 questions. So 7 questions are about our locomotor movements that we learned. And the other 3 questions are if we enjoyed the activity, how hard or easy it was. So they're just reflection questions, okay? So I will see you all tomorrow. I hope you guys had a good workout. Drink some water, rest a little bit, and then answer the questions. And then that's it for today. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.